This is the intro to the Jimmy Zenshins podcast. Please don't rain on my dance party. Sort of like read through notes, stuff like that. And I'm already 1 minute in. So, we start with Jimmy and Mr. Potato discussing that it's been a day since they were breakfast foods. And then Jeff just pops out of nowhere and is like, let's have a Ninja Turtle dance party. And then Katie's dancing wearing a Michelangelo costume. And Jeff is Raphael. And Large Voidian is Donatello. I don't know who Leonardo would be. I think Jimmy would be Leonardo, to be honest. But he isn't wearing a costume. And he says, how are we not informed? And then Mr. Potato's like, we turned Jeff's emails to spam, remember? And this is 2.5 years ago. It's like, oi, another email from Jeff is what old Mr. Potato says. And then Jimmy says, just turn them to spam. And then present day Jimmy says, huh. So then we shoot to a newscaster, and he's like, the forecast calls for the biggest rainstorm of the century. And then suddenly gray clouds gather around Large Voidian's head. Huh, weird. The clouds have never looked this gray. And then they start raining and thundering like at a dirt pile. And Jimmy's like, oh gosh, those clouds are going at it on that dirt pile. And then they angrily turn around at Jimmy. And then it says 7 hours later, and we see a boat that says Gary T. Boat. And they're paddling, like have oars, and Mr. Potato says, you really smooched the pooch on that one. And then that's the end of the page, because that was just like a half of a second side of the page. And then we start, Jimmy says, what? Smooching a pooch? And Mr. Potato's like, oh, well, it's an expression. So then Jimmy makes it to his house. He jumps in the water, and he knocks on the window, and Appy App tells him to go into the garage, basically, like pointing down. And then Jimmy's like, whoa, wow, I'm drenched. And then Appy App says, I have a towel, some crackers, toasted crackers. And then Jeff is crying, my party, wah! And then Scummy Tom's like, shut up or I'll use you as an ottoman. Oh, come on, I challenge you to a rap battle. Then Lugace is like, hello, my pet, Mayo Turtle of Knowledge. And then the Mayo Turtle of Knowledge taps his mohawk, and then he's like, oof, wow, hello. Lugace is like, wow, I'm share you a magic book, mohawk me. Mr. Potato sighs as suddenly he goes over this giant wave over like a side of the dome. Then Mr. Potato, who is in a life preserver, says, hey, Toph. He's like, hi, hello. Then Lugace comes out of the water, and Magic Book is amazed. Then here's a great rap. The sort of more angry voice, like the voice, is Scummy Tom. Hey, you're a scummy gamer. I'm a mean... Okay, let me restart. You're a scummy gamer, a mean jerk with the caper. You suck it with all paper. When I was in high school, you were an outlet gross staper. You're disappointed to your family and friends. You're getting to the chorus. Want to see how this ends? Yo, living in the same house drives the owner insane. He almost tossed me right out in the rain. Wait a minute. Let's go back as the chorus hasn't played. Mortal enemies, technically immortal enemies. Mortal enemies, tonight this'll be quite the fight. Mortal enemies, technically immortal enemies. Mortal enemies, delight. Romantic dinner by candlelight. Enjoying your spaghetti? Yes, and you? Mortal enemies, technically immortal enemies. Immortal enemies are tight. So Smart Lugace is like, hey, and Smart Magic Book's like, hi, and then he's like, I was made when the zombies attacked. And he's like, oh, cool. So then, Zora, Jimmy's mom, shows up and is like, hi, Katie, large Voidian. And Katie says, hi, can we borrow your mustard? She's like, sure, here. But then Katie, oh no, she turns into herself in a ladybug costume. And large Voidian says, bugstered. It's like, well, I gotta put it on my ham sandwich. Like, it ain't complete without that old mustard. And then he turns into a bug. He's like, oh, crap, boy, I am one gross bug. And Zora's like, the only way to reverse it is to drink the potion of unbugginess. And as it turns out, the last bottle is in a glitch hole. And Large Voidian is like, ah, heck, we need to go. And Katie's like, oh, which glitch hole? Zora, you'll have to figure it out. And then Katie just makes an expression at the face. She makes an expression at the camera, reader, whatever. Jeff is like, Tommy, you aren't too bad. You either, Jeffy boy. Hey, guys, says Jimmy. Hi, says Jeff. Oh, wow, you're fluffy. Yeah, side effect of rain. And then Jimmy's kids come out and they're like, hairstyle, Daddy! And it's like, who gave my children scissors? Don't worry, Daddy, I'll trim you up nice. Smart Luggy says, I believe my host is dumber than yours. And then that's the end of that page. And then it continues on to page 385 to say, listen, mine flosses with rope. He's that dumb. Bet yours doesn't keep a lock on of Justice's hair in his invisible neck locket. Well, mine broke both his arms and thought cheese could heal him. Well, I mean, I can't top that. Yeah, he's pretty dumb. And then Magic Book, offended, turns around to try to look at his back and says, no, I amn't. Gross Bug Large Voidian says, okay, the biggest glitch hole is by City Hall. And then Katie says, then let's go. And she goes underwater, and she sees the place. And Large Voidian actually finds the hole. She jumps in and finds a potion. Okay, let's down this potion on down. And then she drinks it, and then she's like, oh crap, it's a literal potion. Turn me into a literal ladybug. And she's just a ladybug with Katie's head. Large Voidian's like, dang, I need to go to the one by the interdimensional cell phone tower. And Jimmy's like, I gotta love it, guys. You should be hairstylists, really. And he has like a bald spot. And then James Jr. is just laughing and then attacks Scummy Tom. And Scummy Tom's like, no, not my precious fur. One haircut later, I want to kill them. Hey, don't kill my kids. And he gets out like Wolverine claws. It's like, since when have you had Wolverine claws? Since Inkbot's cybernetic limb software update number 11-4. I should switch to Inkbot for my robo-arm needs. Wow, anyways, true adject. Would you like a waffle? Yes. Boom! Scoop out the creams. Hey! And then the Mayo Turtle of Knowledge is like, frick, dem boys are being goofs. Stop it, boys. And a surprised Smart Magic Book looks at him. And then Smart Luggage is like, oh, okay, sorry, Father. So, I'll go in, being a pure Voidian. I won't be affected by glitching, says Gross Bug Large Voidian. Katie's like, that's a lie. Remember Poolg? Large Voidian. He was half Taco Demon. Katie, how do you know him? Large Voidian. Voidian History Channel. Katie's like, oh, okay. Large Voidian jumps into the water. Scummy Tom's like, oh, spooky. Appy App shows up and points up and says, Jimmy, the roof is leaking. And Jimmy's like, oh, this day just officially got worse. Then Appy App's like, I mean, luckily with our subscription to Buckets Monthly, I was able to stop the floor from getting wet. And Jimmy's like, yeah, we need someone to freeze the cracks. She's like, you don't mean... And then we cut to Freed's Voidian driving his car, and he says, "No can do, I'm bringing my grandma to a mustard fair." And Jimmy's like, "Oh, that reminds me, my grandma needs mustard." And Appiap, with a sort of disgruntled expression, is holding up the phone that's clearly on speakerphone. And then he says, "And besides, don't I, like, hate you guys?" And then that's as far as they've gotten in the comic. So I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget your magic.